UFC 285, Jones versus Khan. Full card prediction and betting breakdown. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to give these predictions very, very fast to you right now. I got Jones in the main event, Shevchenko, Shavkat, the underdog, Jalen Turner, Bo Nickel, Cody Garbrandt, Plessis, Amanda Hebas, underdog, Julia Marquez, Ian Gary, Cameron Simon, Tabitha Hichi, Farid Basharat, and Loic Radzhabov. Now, for the betting breakdown, a lot of the odds just came out recently. I was going to do them yesterday, but not all of the best odds that I can see out there were actually out yesterday, so we had to wait till today, and we got a lot of good odds to look at. Cody Garbrandt, no, we're not betting on Cody. We'll get to that one in a bit. There is some good opportunities for a possible underdog play on Trevin Jones there, but we're going to start from the bottom of the card, work our way to the top, which is the one you're probably waiting for, John Jones and Cyril Gane. We'll get to it in a bit, but first one we got is Loic Radzhabov and Esteban Ribovics in the lightweight division. Again, I said I had Loic winning. These odds are kind of crazy, I'm going to be honest with you. Minus 300 for Loic Radzhabov, who was planning on coming in here on short notice to beat an undefeated, powerful guy in Esteban Ribovics. That's a little iffy in my opinion. That is a little bit iffy in my opinion. Now, it's definitely not like a parlay piece on Loic Radzhabov, so we're going to take that right out of the equation. There's no way you should be parlaying Loic Radzhabov. In the money line, pretty much a money line underdog better pass. It's that plus 235, 225, around that range on Esteban Ribovics, or you just do not bet the fight. Now, Ribovics by TKO or knockout, now that does interest me a little bit because that's just absurd how big a plus money it is, but you got to look at the fact that Loic has never been KO'd. All right, where does that leave us? We got a guy that doesn't really get knocked out. We got a powerful guy in Esteban who has never been finished. Loic has never been finished, and is plus 158 to go to a decision. See where I'm going at here? It seems like the obvious thing to do for this fight with Esteban Ribovics and Loic Radzhabov is going to be the goes to a decision, in my opinion. Maybe even Ribovics scorecards no action, because Loic Radzhabov is not really like a go out there and finish you every single time he goes out there. He gets a finish every now and they got that knockout on Akhman Aliyev, a guillotine on Zach Zane, but most of the time he's getting a decision win. So the two things that I look at for Loic Radzhabov and Esteban Ribovics would be the scorecards no action on Esteban Ribovics for almost 2-1 value at plus 170. I think that has decent odds there. I would peg it pretty close on if there's a finish, it'd probably go to either guy. But I don't actually expect a finish in this one. I do think it goes all the way. So plus 158 is very, very, very enticing, because plus 210 on Loic Radzhabov winning by decision, it's not enough. That is my prediction. I do believe Radzhabov wins, but the difference of plus 210 to plus 158 just for the off chance that Esteban Ribovics goes out there and is able to win round 1 and round 2, drop round 3 and win, I'd rather just stick with that. So plus 158 is the best you're going to get. The worst is going to be at plus 120, but I say it should be minus 105, minus 110. So there's a lot of value on the fight goes to a decision, in my opinion. Those are the two things. I'm not going to underdog Esteban Ribovics. I just don't feel good about it. It's a weird kind of fight. But that fight goes to a decision definitely has value. And then Ribovics scorecards, no action, also has some value. Now, the fight after this is also interesting because there's another two guys, an undefeated guy and a veteran, neither of which really get finished all too often. So, but it's not like the Loic Radzhabov fight. Loic and Esteban have never been finished, and their decision odds are plus money. Whereas Farid Basharat, it's at minus 136. Not really there to where I like to put money on the fight goes to a decision. And even if I were to say my prediction on Basharat by decision at plus 110, it's really just not enough value for me to lay enough money on Farid Basharat to win like that. So this doesn't really seem like a fight worth betting for the most part, in my opinion, because Basharat scorecard is no action. Yeah, I believe if there's a finish, it'll be Basharat, but laying minus 450 down definitely is not going to be worth it. And minus 136 to go all the way, not worth it. Farid by decision plus 100 is not worth it. So this definitely does seem like one of those passing type of a fights. Because even the money line, if you're thinking about parlaying Farid Basharat, you're really confident in Farid winning. I feel good about Farid winning. I'm not going to go out here and say an 80, 90% of the time this man is winning, because those are the odds you'd have to for the odds to actually make sense to put him in a parlay. I don't think the odds make sense. Not a parlay piece for Farid Basharat. No decision bets on here. It's a pass type of a fight for me. Damon Blackshear, Farid Basharat, I would not recommend betting. Tabitha Hichi and Jessica Penne, 40 years old and 28 years old. Now, this is an underdog or pass situation. 1,000%. You're getting a median odd for Tabitha Hichi at minus 300, minus 310, minus 340. I mean, 3-to-1 odds. You got to lay $300 down to get $100 back on a Tabitha Hichi bet. The fight goes to a decision is not enough. Yeah, I think it goes to a decision, of course. Am I going to lay that much money on fight goes to a decision? No, I am not. Now, this one right here is going to be a close one in my opinion, so it's not going to be fight goes to a decision. I'm not going to money line Tabitha Hichi. I'm not even going to do an underdog bet on Jessica Penne because I think the fight is going to be so close, and because I see so many of these women's MMA fights being 29-28, really close when there's a takedown here that you can maybe argue won one of the girls the round. It's going to be a split decision bet. I don't know if the odds are out on here yet for like the majority decision, unanimous decisions, and things like that. But I believe those will be out probably tomorrow. I would assume so. So once those do come out, I will be looking at them. So that's the only thing. Ricci by decision is minus money. No, we're not doing any of that. That's not value at all. Moneyline isn't value. Fight goes to a decision isn't value. I'm waiting for Tabitha Hichi by split decision, which is usually, if I'm remembering, on DraftKings or FanDuel. So that's about it. Nothing is really appetizing on any of the other odds. I mean, even if I were to go Penne by decision, the difference of plus 250, the Penne by decision at plus 300, plus 350, not really enough, in my opinion, to do an underdog bet on Jessica Penne. So split decision bet on Tabitha Hichi, in my opinion, be the way to go. Mana Martinez, Gamrot, Simon. Now, money line, I'm going to be honest, it's parlay worthy for sure. Can definitely stick Gamrot and Simon in a parlay, and I wouldn't really be too mad at it. Under 2.5 is interesting. If you have a betting odds site that allows you to add two bets of the same fight together, I would like that. As some of them allow you to, sorry, I had a hiccup there. Some of the betting odds sites allow you to do it where you put Gamrot Simon, say he's at minus 300, and then you also add in the under 2.5 rounds. So you're saying he gets the finish in under 2.5 rounds. That'll be plus 150 odds. Whereas if you go to just regular Simon inside the distance, you got plus 115, plus 125, plus 130. You get it a little bit better for under 2.5 rounds. And I know he's coming off a late third round knockout win. I don't know. Yeah, really for this one, I would say most likely if he's going to win, it'll probably be in the second round, in my opinion. So a second round knockout would be most likely, because I don't think he's going to go out there looking for a submission. He wants a good knockout on a pay-per-view stage like this. UFC 285, one of the most stacked cards of the year. I believe the KO prop has some value at plus 200 or more. So some of these ones at plus 150, plus 160. I don't like them. If you can get on plus 200 or more on Gamrot Simon to win by KO TKO, that would definitely entice me, in my opinion. Simon by submission plus 700. I highly doubt he wants to go out there and get a submission. And Leo Mana has good submission defense, in my opinion. So I think this one will be a KO in round number 2. Yeah, plus 200 or more will be about it. Under 2.5 rounds, minus 103. You'd have to add it with with Cameron Simon and under 2.5 rounds if your bookie allows it. But other than that, it's a KO proper pass. Not really a fight you can bet on besides maybe parlaying Cameron Simon because his odds are parlayable in my opinion. We got another undefeated fighter. We had a lot of undefeated guys on this card. Ian Machado, Gary, and Kenan Sang in the welterweight division. Now, the odds are a little iffy in my opinion. I did the confident picks video, I believe it was yesterday. I had Ian Machado Gary at 85%. That's right around where his odds are now. Because they've been inflating a lot. I mean, I think yesterday they were at like minus 600, minus 650, where they were sort of parlayable. You can get away with parlaying Ian Gary there. Now, not so much. Not so much in my opinion. I would not recommend. You're not going to really get anything. Like, let's just take for example right here. We have Amanda Hebas from next week at minus 110. Or sorry, from this week, we had her at minus 110. And then we go ahead and add Ian Gary at minus 800. It barely puts you in a plus money for the risk that Kenan Sang, a veteran of the UFC, could go out there and make the upset. I don't think it's going to happen, but as of now, yesterday, and even on Betway, if you're on there, that's a little bit parlayable. But if you're getting into the 700s and 800s, I would say keep them out of the parlays, in my opinion. Over 1.5 rounds, under 2.5. Fight goes to a decision. I do have Gary by knockout. That is my prediction. But I'm 50-50 on a KO or a decision. I'm pretty 50-50 on it going all the way, or Gary going out there and getting that TKO. So it's another one of them where, yes, I think he should get the knockout, but it's still minus money, and I don't feel more than 50% confident that he's going to go out there and knock out Kenan Sang. So the only thing would be to do, I don't think those odds are out yet, but once they are out, is the Ian Gary by a unanimous decision, specifically unanimous, because Gary by just a straight up decision is at plus 280. By unanimous, you can get up to like plus 350, and I don't think it's necessarily going to be a super close fight. So I don't think we're gonna have a risk of it being a split decision or anything like that. So I would wait for the unanimous decision. I don't think the KO prop has much of anything there, unless you're able to do Gary by KO in round 1 or Gary by KO in round 2. There's one of them that I saw, Ian Gary in round 1 or round 2. See, that's not enough. Minus 134 just is not worth it, in my opinion. I'd wait for the unanimous decision prop. Probably is not going to hit because I do believe Gary will get the knockout, but value-wise, it is definitely the most valuable bet in that Ian Machado Gary Kenan Sang fights. Next one we got is Julian Marquez and Marc-Andre Barrio. Obviously, you saw I picked Julian Marquez to win. So, underdog bet is pretty much the only way to go. Minus 160 on Marc-Andre Barrio. You are crazy if you're betting that. He might win. He might go out there, lose round 1, come back and win the next 2 rounds. It's very possible. I've talked about this fight being one of the closest on the card, just depending how can Julian Marquez land those big shots in round 1. And if he can't get the finish, can he keep it going in round number 2? It's a close fight. It's an underdog or pass on the money line. I see that has some value. For like the over 1.5, what is it? Fight goes to a decision and things like that. I believe Marc-Andre Barrio by decision actually has a lot of value. You might not think it. I just picked Julian Marquez to go out there and win the fight. But if there's a bet to make on the prop side over here, it'll probably be Barrio by decision. If he's going to win, I don't think he's going to knock out Julian Marquez, because the odds are saying that he's more like... Sorry, but I had a hiccup again. They're saying that he's more likely to go out there and get the TKO on Julian Marquez. I'm going to be honest, I don't believe he's more likely to get the knockout. Right here, even on Tapology, they're agreeing. 58% decision, 28% knockout. I don't know where the line is coming from, saying that he's more likely to get the knockout. Yes, he has 9 knockouts on his record. But, the Jordan Wright fight, he's just got a guillotine. Decision, Dolce Jambula, and Abu Azaitar. It took him till 4 seconds left in the 3rd round to go out there and get the finish. All the other fights, not able to get the finish. Can't finish Andrew Sanchez, the man that has been knocked out so many freaking times in his MMA career. KO loss, KO loss, KO loss, KO loss, and then Marc-Andre Barrio is not able to finish him. Chris Shevchenko, that guy doesn't get finished. Junior Park, he doesn't get finished too often, but only recent knockout win for him was an Abu Azaitar ground and pound knockout win in round number 3. I'm not really feeling a Marc-Andre Barrio KO. And I know what you're saying. Julian Marquez just got knocked out by Gregory Rodriguez. Do I care? That is Gregory freaking RoboCop Rodriguez. That man walks forward and throws leather. As soon as he fell in love with his hands after the Junior Park standing KO, after the Al Matavayo, Josh Frem knockouts and things like that, the man just started coming forward. That dude is a knockout machine in the UFC's middleweight division. So no, I'm not worried about Julian Marquez going out there and getting knocked out. I do believe if there's a finish here between Julian Marquez and Marc-Andre Barrio, the finish is going to be from Julian Marquez. Chris Harris, 4-0 undefeated guy, unable to finish. Alessio Di Chirico, split decision, unable to finish. And it took Gregory so many freaking punches to finish Julian Marquez. So, I know that was a long explanation, but I do believe this one down here is also going to have value. Marquez scorecards no action is almost at plus money. I think he's more likely to get the finish than Marc-Andre Barrio, considering, Marc-Andre Barrio is also coming off 2 finish losses inside the UFC. Chidi and Njokuani, where he got starched, and then Anthony Hernandez, as well as the fact that Julian has more power. He's got more finishing ability as well. But if you don't want to do those ones, and you do believe that Marc-Andre Barrio is going to win, he's not going to get the knockout, I promise you guys. I can't really make promises in this type of a game, but if he's going to win this fight, it'll be a battle, and it will be a decision, 3-round banger in the UFC's middleweight division right here. Plus 270 on Barrio. Value, 100%. But ding, 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 ding. Next fight is Viviani Araujo. Maybe if Amanda Hebas somehow becomes an underdog, maybe I consider putting some money on her, but yeah, minus 120 for such a close fight, I'm not laying anything on that. Minus 210 for goes to a decision, that's honestly not as bad as I thought. Minus 210 is decent, is very, very decent considering the fight. But Viviani Araujo, you gotta look at her. That's why I'm saying minus 210 is decent. Decision. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Only been finished once in her MMA career and only 1 finish inside the UFC against someone that is not inside of the UFC. Amanda Hebas. Decision. Yes, she got knocked out, and her only finish inside of the UFC against 2 girls that are, well, not inside of the UFC. Do believe this one goes to a decision. Minus 210 is actually quite tempting. Minus 250 is a little steep, but if you're on FanDuel and you got this minus 210, I'm going to make a little parlay. Why not? We got the minus 110 on Amanda Hebas. You add Valentina Shevchenko, and then you add Bo Nickel. It's not showing, but it's definitely going to be there. You got plus money for Bo Nickel by finish. Valentina Shevchenko on that fight going to a decision. I actually think minus 210, pretty decent. Pretty decent for Amanda Hebas, Viviani Araujo. For either of them to win, Hebas, yeah, there's nothing there. Plus 155 is absolute dog doo-doo, in my opinion. Yeah, there's nothing else. Minus 210 is not that bad. I was expecting like minus 300 or something like that for this type of a fight, but no. That is quite good. That is quite good indeed. So, yeah, that's about it for that fight. I don't like betting women's MMA too much. Derek Brunson in the middleweight division, 29 and 39 years old. This one right here, I don't think a bet on Driku would be good. If he was at minus 175, minus 180, I think he'd have some value, but he's pushing 250 right now. Not a lot there in my opinion. Over 1.5, that's a 50-50 one in my opinion. Plus 135. This is one where we have to go on to DraftKings for it, Because there's a specific bet I think would be decent for the Dricus du Plessis fight. Let's check the odds out really quick. I remember looking at it yesterday, and it was like an under plus Dricus du Plessis winning, and I did like the sound of it a little bit. So we go, what are they? Fight parlays right here. We got Dricus du Plessis to win and the under 1.5 rounds. Dricus du Plessis to win and the under 1.5 rounds. Because the under one, okay, that's not enough. Because plus 135 is on Bet Online right there, and it's just for the under 1.5 rounds. Yeah, that's not enough in my opinion. Plus 140, are you serious for that? That is interesting indeed. Derek Brunson to win and over 1.5. Trying to think of it. Dricus du Plessis, so is there one that says Dricus in round 2 or 3? I do not expect a du Plessis finish in round 1. If he's gonna get the finish, I think it's gonna be in round 2 or in round number 3 by KO. He's not submitting. He's not gonna go out there and submit him. So I need to find that. Dricus du Plessis to win by KO round 2. And then in KO in round 3. Plus 500 and plus 1,000. Is there a way to add them together? I don't know. Round props? No, I need to find that. There's got to be something like that where they're winning in round 2 or in round number 3. Well, you could do the thing where you put like 0.1 unit or 0.1 unit on round 2 and 0.1 unit on round 3. But I just don't feel like he's going to go out there and get the first round knockout. I don't feel like anyone's going to get a finish in round number 1. If there's a finish in this fight, it will be in round 2 or round number 3. So I don't know. Du Plessis by KO round 2. What's the best odds on that? Plus 700 right there is insane. Plus 600 on Bet Online, and then du Plessis KO in round 3 is at plus 1,300. That's the only thing I'd suggest here. I don't like the money line. I don't like the straight up just KO on Dricus du Plessis because that is at plus 150, plus 125. Not a lot there, in my opinion. I say round 2 and round number 3 because they're pegging round 1 as being the round he gets the knockout in. Plus 330 right there. All the values in round 2 and in round number 3 where Derek Brunson always begins to fade. So a round 2 KO prop, you sprinkle a bit on that one. You sprinkle a bit on the round 3 prop. That would be my suggestion if you're going to bet this one. Under 2.5 also isn't bad, but you'd have to be like Dricus du Plessis and the under 2.5 rounds. So maybe get that to plus money. Let's see if that's there. I don't remember there being an under 2.5 on here, though. Yeah, they have Dricus and over, but they don't have the under for some reason. But that'd be about it for that one. Round 2 or round 3 TKO. Next one, we got Cody Garbrandt and Trevin Jones. Let's say it right now, underdog or pass. You do not, I'm going to repeat right now, you do not want to have this man, Cody Garbrandt, in none of your parlays, none of your bets. You don't want a money line Cody Garbrandt in this fight. It's not something you want to do. But a prop, there's one I like, plus 500 on Cody Garbrandt by decision. Now, this is interesting. Now, this is very, very interesting. I know you're going to look at me and say, well, Cody's got 10 KO wins on his record and only 2 decision wins. The last time he got a decision was Dominic Cruz freaking 7 years ago. I know this. But the value, I don't think the fight, 50-50 if the fight goes all the way. I mean, this is one of those fights. I'm not going to be surprised at all if Trevin goes out there and starches Cody Garbrandt. If Cody Garbrandt goes out there and knocks out Trevin Jones. I will not be surprised if we see a bad KO from either of these two guys right here. But you have to look at the wins and losses of Trevin Jones. The man goes to a decision a lot. The guy goes to a decision a lot. He's never been KO'd. Never, ever been KO'd in his professional mixed martial arts career to this date. And he's fought some good, solid guys. Farid Basharat is a very, very good striker. He's had so many close split decisions in the past before joining the UFC. He knocked out Mario Batista, which is making me wonder, can he do the same on Cody Garbrandt? That's why I'm saying do not freaking moneyline Cody or do not parlay Cody. But plus 500 on Garbrandt decision, fighting a guy that has never been KO'd and has only been finished by submission freaking 10 years ago by rear naked choke submission and by Saidyoku Rakhmonov, one of the best grapplers in this division. So no, I'm going on it. Plus 225, yes, that has value. Plus 500 on Cody Garbrandt by decision, my actual prediction for the fight. Heck yes, that has some value. I mean, what is this? Plus 120 for Garbrandt by TKO? Plus 120? That's nuts in my opinion. Jones by TKO is the only thing you should be betting. If you're going for finish on Trevin Jones versus Cody Garbrandt, that's it. Jones wins by TKO is it, in my opinion. Garbrandt is minus money on scorecards, no action. You can get plus 160 on Trevin Jones to win. Inside the distance, scorecards, no action. It is insane. So I'm saying either fight goes to a decision at plus 225, my guy. Even if you're on one of the other ones, plus 175. I still think that has value. And if you got Trevin Jones winning, all right, probably bet him by TKO. I don't think if Trevin Jones gets the win, I don't think it's going to be a decision. Most likely, he's probably going to catch Cody with something. But if Cody's going to win, I don't think he's going to knock him out. I could be totally wrong. You guys can be watching this on Saturday right now after Cody goes out there and starches Trevin Jones. But Trevin has never been knocked out. Never. And they're giving him plus 100 odds right here that he gets the knockout. No. Plus 500 Garbrandt decision, plus 225 fight goes to a decision. That's it. That's it. No money lines, no underdog bets. It's Trevin Jones by KO, plus 300. That has value for sure. It is Cody Garbrandt by decision, plus 500. That has value for sure. Or fight goes to a decision. If you're afraid, maybe Trevin just rocks Cody a few times and steals the decision. All right. Either of those bets, they all have value. All right. Bo Nickel, Jamie Pickett, you already know. Do not do the money line. Sorry to say. There's nothing there, guys. Minus 2,200 is doing nothing to your parlay. But there is something that'll, do a little bit of something. Not really that much, but it'll do a little something. And that little something is nickel inside the distance. Minus 450, minus 500. Parlay piece. That's it. That's really all I got to say about it. And nickel by knockout is value as well. But yeah, if you're going to parlay anything on this card, nickel inside the distance. Jamie Pickett is so finishable. I mean, the UFC chose the absolute perfect guy for the job. I mean, the man got knocked out by Jordan Wright in a minute. He got taken down and smashed by Kyle Dawkins. Kyle's nowhere near the wrestling or grappling pedigree of Bo Nickel. Then he just got knocked out bad by Dennis Chilinen. Got arm triangle by Charles Bert, who's nowhere near the wrestler or grappler. As my man Bo Nickel, he's going to get the finish. All right, that's all. That's all I really got to say for that fight. Mateusz Gamrot and Jalen Turner. I talked about it in my prediction video, I believe. I don't know when I did it, like 2 days ago, 3 days ago. I'm not too sure. I talked about it. It's an underdog or pass. It's a 50-50 fight in my opinion. I lean Jalen Turner ever so slightly to just have the bigger moments, land the bigger shots, go for the finishing blows, and be rewarded for such in the judges' scorecards and win a decision. I know. You probably think I'm crazy saying the fight goes to a decision. You might be right. You might be right in saying it'll probably be a finish. Jalen's going to rock Gamrot. Gamrot's never been finished. Gamrot's never been finished. You can be out there and say, well, Jalen Turner's going to get finished. Jalen's been finished plenty of times as a mixed martial artist, and I'll say, yeah, he's been finished a few times. Vicente Luque, up a weight class on his UFC debut in short notice. And then 6 years ago and 7 years ago. That's it. The man has yet to be finished in the last 5 years. Neither man has yet to be finished once in the last 5 years. I think the fight goes all the way. I think we have a competitive war. Mateusz Gamrot, that's what he's saying in the interviews. He doesn't expect this one to be early fast. He expects this to be a 3-round battle. And in a battle between Jalen Turner and Mateusz Gamrot, I think Turner's going to land those harder shots. I think Turner's going to rock Gamrot a few times, go for some submissions. Now, he might go for the submission and Gamrot gets the takedown, and that'll put Gamrot in an advantageous position, but it is such a close fight, in my opinion, between Gamrot and Turner. So these type of close fights, you got to underdog or pass. And if you're not going to do that one, well, you can go right down here and look at this craziness that has Jalen Turner by decision at plus 7. What the heck? 700. Plus 700. That is nuts. That is absolutely nuts. I don't think there's going to be a finish. I don't want to bother with scorecards, no action. I think it goes all the way. If I was predicting Gamrot to win this fight, I'd say by decision, but I still would not bet Mateusz Gamrot to win by decision because I'd still believe it's a very, very close fight. I'd still bet Jalen Turner to win by decision. It might not happen. Jalen might get the finish. Gamrot might just wrestle and control and win a decision. But the most valuable thing here is going to be Jalen Turner to win by decision. I know, you're looking KO, submission, KO, submission. TKO, submission, KO. The man has never had a decision win in his life. You may be right, but if there's a man that is going to not get finished, it is Mateusz Gamrot. Guram Katataladze, Benil Dariush, Arman Saryukian. The man does not get finished. He's not going to in this fight or in any other fight for that matter, unless he fights like Islam and he's able to get his back or something. I don't know. I think the fight goes all the way. Plus 700 is just ridiculous. Next one, Jeff Neal and Shevchenko Rakhmonov. It's a good fight. It is a good fight indeed. I'm not expecting a KO here. Not expecting a KO. Some people are, which is interesting, I would say. We got 16% of the vote going Rakhmonov by KO, and most of the people picking Neal are for that fluky KO win scenario, which isn't very likely. But I would agree, if Jeff Neal's going to win, it'll be a KO. And my prediction, yeah, it's going to be in agreement with Tapology there in that if Shavkat wins, probably be a submission in round number 2 specifically. Minus 174 right here, I think it happens. Fight will start round 2. I think it will happen. I don't think Rakhmonov wins by KO. That's plus 195 right there. I don't think so. But plus 200, plus 170 for Rakhmonov's submission, I do believe that happens. I do believe that will happen. Now, Jeff Neal, is he a type of guy to get submitted? Not really. I mean, it's been a while, like a long 10 years since the man has been submitted. Do I care? Are any of the other guys as good of a grappler as Shavkat Rakhmonov? Simple answer is no. Simple answer there is going to be no. So what to do on the bet? We're not doing Rakhmonov, scorecards, no action. There's nothing there. We're not doing the money line. It's not parlayable. It's not enough value, in my opinion. I don't even want to do the over 1.5s, under 1.5s, anything like that. The only thing I'm going to do here, not even going to be Rakhmonov's submission. Not even going to be Rakhmonov's submission. It's going to be, let's go down here a little bit. Rakhmonov by submission in round number 2. Plus 850. Jeff Neal, if Jeff Neal is losing this fight in round number 1, if he goes out there and he's putting on a show, he's landing some good shots on the feet, and Shavkat gets him down with a takedown and starts to control him, maybe looks for the back of Jeff Neal, at that point, he's going to be like, oh, shoot. God dang it. I'm fighting freaking Shavkat Rakhmonov. I'm just going to try to get out of this round. That'll be a moral victory for me. That's what a lot of fighters that fight Shavkat do. In round number 1, they try to look for that flush knockout in round number 1. And then if they get taken down, they're like, all right, I just got to survive now. I just got to survive. Shavkat has never been to a round 3 since 2018. Since 2018. I believe Jeff Neal will survive round number 1 because he's going to have that honor and that pride to just keep on fighting the submissions, fighting the choke. In round number 2, that's where he's just going to sink something in, because the takedown's going to come a lot easier after Shavkat is able to kind of feel out Jeff Neal a little bit. He's going to find the takedown around 2 a lot easier, and that's where I do believe he's going to get the submission. I don't think it's going to be in round 1, and I think if it gets to round 3, they're going to be too slippery and sweaty and things like that for Shavkat to get under the chin. And I think that if it gets to round 3, I think the fight's going to go all the way. If he doesn't get the finish in round 1 or round 2, the fight's going to a decision, in my opinion. So that leaves me with only a Rakhmonov submission round 2. That's all I would do. That's all I would do. And look, there's money coming down on it. It was probably me. It was probably me, to be honest with you. But it was February 28th. Nah, I did mine this morning. So that was not me, I guess. But still, plus 850 is a heck of a lot of value. Because you're only getting just straight up submission any of the rounds, or I actually don't believe he's going to get it in round 1 or round number 3. You're only getting plus 170, and in some cases, plus 135. You're almost getting 10-1 odds on round number 2. And round number 2, that's the magic round for Shavkat, in my opinion. So that's about it. No money lines, no parlays, no inside the distance, decision, no action, submission round 2. That's about it. Good value there. Good value there. I talked about this one earlier in my Parlay of the Week video. We're going to have to go on to DraftKings for this one. This one I like. I really, really feel good about this one. Let's see. And I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, wow, that actually is a very solid bet. That's pretty decent. Wow. I like that. And that bet is going to be Valentina Shevchenko. No, I'm just kidding. Minus 800, no. We're not doing anything with minus 800 Valentina Shevchenko. Nah, there's not really a lot there. But minus 200 Valentina Shevchenko and simply over 1.5 rounds? Just over 1.5 rounds, that's it? That's all? It just has to go 1.5 rounds. I like it. I do like it. You're getting from minus 800 to minus 200 just for the fight to last 1.5 rounds, where every single fight she's had in her last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fights, her last 6 fights have all gone over that 1.5, except for Jessica Ai right there. And we know Jessica Ai, yeah, she's Jessica Ai. She had to be the one. Even before that, it went over. I mean, only one fight in her last 10, 11, 12 has been an under 1.5 situation, because she's kind of trying to pick them apart and calculate what she's going to do. And usually that leads to, if she's going to get the finish, usually that leads to a 3rd or 4th round finish where she really starts to figure out her opponent and really starts to go for that finish. She doesn't go for the first round finish. She's not a Francis Ngannou. So over 1.5, I feel very good about. And minus 200, there's value there for sure. Next one and last one. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Jon Jones and Ciryl Gane in the UFC heavyweight division. You already know, minus 170. No, we're not doing that. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not degenerates. We're not putting minus 170 in a parlay. There's no value there. If you're going to bet Jon Jones, you missed the goddamn opportunity. The man was plus money at one point. Minus 155, minus 170 now. So money line is off the table. We're not doing anything with that. Over 1.5 rounds, maybe a parlay piece. If there's going to be a finish on this one, probably later on in the fight. Fight goes to a decision at minus 122. I do believe it will, but you never know. So I don't really want to do something with that. Fight's a draw. You never know. I mean, Jon Jones with the eye pokes and the illegal stuff. There's a very good shot Jon Jones could get a draw here. Because I do believe if this fight goes all the way, it'll probably be like a 48-47. Very close fight. And if there's a point deduction from freaking Jon poking out those fingers like he always does, I mean, is this the fight to bet draw? Is this the fight to bet draw? It could actually be. It could actually. Let's just keep that in mind. Maybe $1 or $2. I might sprinkle a few pennies at the draw. Just to say I did. Just to show the slip at the end and be like, well, I bet draw. Because there is a good shot I actually see a draw happen in there. But it'd be horrible for the UFC. Imagine another draw, like less than a year after Ankalaev taking on Jan Blachowicz. I mean, the scenes would be crazy. But no, I'm probably not going to lay super crazy amount of money on that. Probably not. Gone by decisions at plus 340, whereas Jones by decisions at plus 200. Not bad. Not bad in my opinion. Inside the distance, scorecards, no action. This is where I like it a little bit more. This is where I do like it a little bit more. Because if Jones, I believe if there's going to be a finish here, it'll probably be Jon Jones. I can't see Gane going out there, submitting him. I mean, even knocking him out. If he gets close to knocking out Jones, Jones is going to use his reach, stay at range, or get a takedown on Ciryl Gane. So literally about it. I don't think there's much here. I mean, it's such an exciting fight. I mean, the greatest light heavyweight fighter of all time, one of the greatest of all time, and the former interim champ for the vacant belt. Not a lot of things I like betting-wise on this one. Except for maybe Jones scorecards, no action. That's about it. So that's about it for our betting breakdown of every single fight at UFC 285. Jones versus Gane. I'm going to have to replay this video after this live stream to figure out all the bets that I just said, because I forgot a few of them right now, but I'm going to try to remember. So Jon Jones, I would say for that fight is going to be the scorecards, no action. Shavkat Rakhmonov, Jeff Neal, that'll be the second round submission prop for Shavkat Rakhmonov. Jalen Turner, underdog bet, fight goes to a decision bet, or Jalen Turner by decision, all have a lot of value. Bo Nickel by knockout has the value. Bo Nickel by inside the distance, and the parlays will be good. Cody Garbrandt, Trevin Jones goes to a decision. Trevin Jones by knockout, or Cody Garbrandt by a decision. All three have value. Valentina Shevchenko to win, plus the over 1.5 rounds. For Dricko du Plessis, Derek Brunson, a second round KO sprinkle, and a third round KO sprinkle. Amanda Hebas fight goes to a decision, has value. Julian Marquez money line has value. And the Marc-Andre Barrio decision prop also is going to have value. Cameron Simon by TKO has value. And then Cameron Simon in a parlay piece is very solid as well. Ian Gary by KOs, there's not enough value there in my opinion. It's a decision proper pass. He's way above the spot where I parlay him at this point, so nothing there. Tabitha Hichi by split decision would be the bet on that one, in my opinion. Same for Ian Gary. Ian Gary by unanimous decision, not just a regular decision. But for Tabitha, split decision, I believe. Farid Basharat, that's the one I'd say no. There's really nothing there on that one. Kind of like the Jon Jones one. Not much there for Jon Jones versus Ciryl Gane. And Luik Radzibov and Esteban Ribovics. I'm forgetting what I said on this one. I'll remember right now. So Ribovics, by decision, no. Fight goes to a decision. I believe that was it. Fight goes to a decision. Plus 158 has the value. So those are the bets to make at UFC 285. You don't have to make all of them. You don't have to make any of them. But those are the ones I perceive to have the most value. They can all lose. So bet at your own discretion. Do not bet money you are not able to lose. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want all the bets that I'm actually going to make, because I'm not going to bet every single one of these. I'm just telling you the ones that have value. So if you want to see the parlays that I'm going to be making for this card and every other card, if you want to see the props that I'm going to do for this card, if you want to see the money lines and underdog bets, you'll probably already know, because obviously I'm going to bet the underdogs I think are going to win because they're underdogs. That's automatic value. But click the link down below in the description for all of that for $2.99 a month. Very cheap. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one.